Alright, what is going on everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Firstly, I'd like to start the video by saying my apologies for not uploading frequently. It's been quite a while since I've uploaded my last video. I think it was about a month ago since I've uploaded. But honestly, I have been all over the place. I've been trying to sort out a lot of things. For example, one of the stuff is that I'm moving into my office next week. Once it's all done and furnished and I've moved in properly, I will upload a video going through, showing you guys a tour around the office. Okay, hopefully that'll be done within 2 to 3 weeks. But anyways, what is today's video all about? I've been getting a lot of questions asking you guys what the difference between a aggressive entry is and a confirmation entry. And I feel like that is such an important topic to touch upon. Alright, so that's exactly what I'll be going through today. Now, the examples I'll be going through are the trades that I've actually posted on my Instagram. So we'll start with this one. I uploaded this one on October the 3rd. This is an example of me entering at an aggressive entry. Okay, price reacted over 1 hour area of supply. And then we got in a confirmation entry. Okay, so we have both examples here, an aggressive entry and a confirmation entry. Again, I'm going to show you guys examples. Don't worry, breaking down these exact trades. Okay, and again, all of my trades were sent to the team. Okay, the second trade we're going to go through is this one. USD CAD reacted over a higher time frame zone. We had that breaker structure, price pulled back and tapped into an area of supply that we had on the 2 minute and continued to move over to the downside. That's an example of a confirmation entry. Alright, and lastly we got Euro Yen. Price tapped into a high time frame zone, broke structure, pulled back into a 2 hour order block, and then we shorted it down to continue to move over to the downside. And again, the trade was sent to the team. Any trade I take, I always send it over in my Discord for my team to jump in the same trades. Okay, let's get straight into the video. First, I'm going to go through a couple slides to break down the difference between the two. Okay, so aggressive versus confirmation entries. Aggressive entry. An aggressive entry is quite simply when you have identified a higher time frame zone, preferably on the 4 hour or the 1 hour, and the zone is within a premium or discounted level. And then you would set your limit directly off that zone, and then you set and forget. Alright, now the pros and the cons of going with an aggressive entry. Again, the pros is that you set and forget, so you set your limit and then you forget all about it. You don't need to really be on the charts. Once you've set your limit, you go about your day, and if the limit triggers, it triggers. If it doesn't trigger, it doesn't trigger. Okay, but the cons of this is that you do not maximize your risk to reward. You usually have a less risk to reward, and it does add on a bit of risk to the trade as you're not taking into account the volume as it approaches the zone. Usually when price approaches with too much volume, I dismiss my limit. I would wait for a confirmation entry. Okay, when I see too much volume as it's approaching the zone, I'd usually like to see price weaken as it approaches the zone. Alright, so when you do set and forget, you usually don't take into account the volume as it's approaching your zone. Okay, so that's another con about going for an aggressive entry. And then we got the next slide, about which goes through a confirmation entry. Right, a confirmation entry is when you have patiently waited for price to have a reaction off of your higher time frame zone. Okay, so imagine this was our 4 hour area of supply. You would wait for price to show some rejection. Okay, and you would wait for a change of character, your breaker structure. Alright, only then you'll get in at a re-entry. Okay, so essentially what you're doing is waiting. Instead of going aggressive, you'll wait for that reaction. Once you get that reaction, you'll mark out your new areas of supply. You'll wait for that pullback and get in that re-entry. Okay, that would be an example of a confirmation entry. The pros of this is that you'll get a high risk to reward setup, and it's just an extra confirmation. Okay, now the cons of this, you can miss trades, and now you miss your trades for multiple reasons. It could be you were asleep whilst price rejected and mitigated the new area. Okay, or price just simply, once it reacted of the higher time frame zone, it simply did not pull back into a new area of supply, just continued to melt straight from that higher time frame zone. Alright, now, and secondly is that it requires you to be more alert on the charts. Now usually when price does react of your higher time frame zone, you want to wait for it to break the low and then monitor how price pulls back and which zone to go off of. Alright, so it does require more time on the charts. Again, what type of entries you lot go for, that is down to you, down to your availability. Okay, how much time you're able to spend on the charts, how much free time that you do have, what type of trader that you are, how much do you want from the market, if you're satisfied with a low risk to reward or you're eager to get that high risk to reward. It really comes down to you. I personally vary between the two. I don't always wait for a confirmation. Sometimes I do enter with an aggressive entry. Okay, but to be honest, it all depends on the setup. Now that I made that clear, let's go through some of the trades. First, let me go through the post I was speaking about earlier. I'm pretty sure it was this one. Okay, so this trade right here that I'm about to go through with you guys is this trade right here, this one. Okay, now this is an example of me going for an aggressive entry and a confirmation. Okay, so let me break it down. What happened at this point right here? Overall, we're in a downtrend. Okay, as you can see, multiple lows were broken, and I had that unmitigated area of supply marked out. As you can see, is in a premium level. If we fib up the price range, this will be in your premium levels. Okay, as you can see, this zone was mitigated. However, this zone was left unmitigated. So if we actually bring price back to this point right here, and I'll show you guys what I saw. So once all these lows were broken, okay, and all this imbalance was left behind, I wait for price to pull back to tap into this zone right here. Why? It's in a premium level. 2, we got that imbalance right after that zone, validating your zone. Okay, so that's where I wanted to get my entry of. That was my initial entry. Now once price tapped in, that's where I got my first entry of. That is an example of an aggressive entry. Okay, so now we wait for price to break the lows for us to then look for a confirmation entry. Okay, so now we play price. Now, as you can see here, what did price do at this point right here? That was the recent low. Price broke straight through that low. However, it left this area of supply unmitigated, right? So that's where I knew I had to wait for a confirmation entry. So I waited for price to pull back to tap into this area to get in at a re-entry. Okay, now look at the difference in terms of your risk to reward. The aggressive entry I went off has a bigger stop loss, okay, as I went off from a higher time frame zone. Yes, it is a good risk to reward, 1 to 10, you can't really complain, but that's not always the case. Alright, so this is an example. Let's just say a 1 to 11, but then at the confirmation entry we got a 1, let's just say a 1 to 19. Okay, so in terms of the returns you're getting, you're better off going for a confirmation entry. Okay, but this trade is an example of both of them playing out nicely. Okay, we got in at a sniper entry at the aggressive, we got in at a sniper entry at the confirmation. Both beautiful entries. However, we got more returns on the re-entry than we did at the initial entry. We got 11 risk to reward here and almost 19 risk to reward at this trade right here. Now let me move over to the next setup, which was this one down here. Now this setup right here is exactly, let me show you guys, this one right here that I posted 4 days ago. Okay, this is the trade I'm going through right now. Now let me replay price back to this point right here. And again, people, if you do have any confusion, feel free to drop me a DM on Instagram and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, as I'm more active there. So again, feel free to just message me there and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. So the difference between an aggressive and a confirmation entry. No, I did not enter this. I only put this here for your guys' purposes to show you the difference between an aggressive and a confirmation. Okay, so let's look at the price action that we have going on right here. Lows were broken. Okay, low was broken, low was broken, right? And if we go over to the hourly, we had that unmitigated area of supply. We had that bearish order block that price has reacted off. Okay, we got that nice buy to sell. Okay, that was the last buy candle before price broke this low. Okay, making this your new bearish order block. Now, I simply waited for price to react off of the zone, as the risk to reward wasn't really worth it. It was a 1 to 6 risk to reward. I wanted to wait for a better entry to maximize my returns. Okay, so now let's compare this aggressive entry to this confirmation entry. This, you would have had a 9.5 pip stop loss with a risk to reward of 1 to 6. Okay, the confirmation entry, a 4.6 stop loss with almost a 1 to 12 risk to reward. Okay, now you've almost doubled your return just by waiting for a confirmation entry. Now let me show you guys how I got in at this confirmation entry. Firstly, let me explain the aggressive entry. It's quite straightforward. Again, we had a 1 hour bearish order block. We marked out the open, we marked out the close, price pulled back, mitigated the open. So if you wanted to get at an aggressive entry, you would have entered right here and shorted it to the low. Okay, now for the confirmation entry, let's head down. Let's actually replay price back to this point right here. And let's head over to the 2 minute and show you guys exactly what I saw. So price has reacted off that 1 hour supply. I waited for price to change character. Once we got that change of character right here. However, there was no clear re-entries at this point right here, in my opinion. So I waited for this low to be broken. Again, price pulled back, re-mitigated the area of supply that we had on the hourly, and then eventually this low was broken. Once this low was broken, I started to look for my re-entries, and I like this area here a lot better. Why? We have a nice indecision candle. The body's in the middle with wicks on either side. We have this imbalance that was created after the zone and that breaker structure. Okay. Now, at the point where I started to look for this setup was when price was about here. Okay, so if I show you guys exactly what I saw, look at this. What do we see here? Some equal highs, right? What's that? Some liquidity. Okay. So in my eyes, this to me was some liquidity that needed to be taken out. We had some liquidity that needed to be taken out, some imbalance that needs to be filled, and some areas of supply that needs to be mitigated. Okay, so all of this was lining up to my setup. Now, once we had that bearish breaker structure, we wait for price to pull back and fill in this imbalance to mitigate into this 2-minute area of supply. That would have been your confirmation entry, and that is where I took my entry off. So now if we play price, there it is. Price has now mitigated the zone, and we let it play out and do its thing. Now let's just go over to the higher time frame, as this will take a long time. Okay, but anyways, now you lot are clear on how and where I got my entry of at this confirmation entry. Let me just label it for you guys to avoid any confusion. We'll write 2 minute, as we chose our supply of the 2-minute time frame. Okay, so again, once we had that bearish breaker structure, we wait for price to pull back to fill in some imbalances that we had, take out some liquidity, tap into some unmitigated areas of supply on the lower time frame to continue the move over to the downside. So now I play price, and as you can see, price eventually hit our take profit. Okay, and that's what. Now that's just the difference between an aggressive and a confirmation entry, right? So if you got in at an aggressive point, you'd have entered straight away from the 1 hour order block that I had marked out. You'd have entered at the open of your stop loss at the close, giving you a 6 risk to reward return. Okay, whereas if you got in at that confirmation entry, you would have came out with 12 risk to reward. All right, that's the difference between the two, and I hope you lot are seeing great examples that I'm showing you guys right here, and you lot are understanding it. Again, if you do not understand it, feel free to drop me a DM, and I'll try and help you out as much as I can. And lastly, we're going to go through Euro Yen. Okay, before I wrap up the video. So let's head over to the 2 hour. Okay, let's ignore all of this for now. Alright, and let's zoom in to what I see. So if we head back a bit, what can we see here? Let's wait for price to load up a bit. Okay, cool. So we had all of this imbalance. Okay, price eventually came to fill it in and mitigate of this higher time frame area of supply. Okay, once price rejected that area of supply, we waited for that change of character. Okay, so again, if you wanted to go in aggressive, you would have entered straight off of this zone right here. Okay, that's an example of you going in aggressive, and you could have targeted multiple areas of imbalances. So let's just say you targeted this area here for now. Alright, now an example for confirmation entry. Once price has rejected this zone, we waited for this low to be broken. Okay, and then we go to low times to make it a lot clearer. So we were waiting for this low to be broken once price reacted off of this zone. Once it got mitigated, we wait for price to break this low, giving us that change of character, confirming that price is willing to move over to the downside. So then we wait for the pullback to mitigate into this area of supply that we had on the 2 hour, and now we get in ourselves at this confirmation. Okay, because now we have confirmed that price is willing to move over to the downside. All right, now this is how we got in our entry for EJ. All right, now I hope that was another good example for you guys, and it hopefully made you guys understand it a bit better. So essentially what we waited for was price to mitigate our 4 hour area of supply. Once we got that rejection, we waited for it to break the low. Once this low was broken, We then wait for the retracement to fill in the imbalance and mitigate off a area of the supply that was created before that breaker structure that we had on the low time frame. Okay, once that, all right. So this trade is this one that I've posted right here. This was my most recent post, and I posted it again 4 days ago. As you can see here, we're gone at that 2-hour order block, and then we're going at our re-entry at this point right here, allowing us to maximize our returns and getting an extra confluence for our setup. Okay, again, this trade was sent to the team. As you can see right here, it was sent into the Discord in the mentors charts section. Alright, before I wrap up today's video, I wanted to let you guys know that if you wanted access to join the team, the link is down in the description below, or you can simply head over to my Instagram and click the link in the bio. Once you've done that, head over to ZM Capital's Academy and it'll send you straight into my website. Once you're in my website, all you have to do is select get the course now. If you guys want, the course curriculum is down below to see what the course content will cover. But again, head over to get the course now, and all you'll need to do is fill in your information, create an account, make the payment. Once you've done that, you would have been able to log in, and all you need to do is head over to the My Dashboard section at the top, and then you can go through the course content. The first lesson in the Discord is simply the link. The first lesson in the website is simply the link to join in the Discord. Again, you just go here, click here to join the Discord community, and it will send you straight to the invite page. As you can see, we currently have 294 members in the team. We are growing bit by bit. Alhamdulillah, a lot of you are enjoying the content and actually joining in the team. So I'm glad to have you guys on board. But yeah, so all you need to do is head over to the first link and it'll send you over to the invitation page to join in the Discord once you have completed your payment, of course, to join in the academy. Again, before I close it off now, if you guys do have any questions, feel free to drop me a DM on my Instagram and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Anyways, people, take care.